So I need to change the starter on my trusty 2006 Jeep Wrangler TJ Sport Golden Eagle. So the starter on this Jeep resides at the back of the engine, kind of in between the exhaust and the oil pan. It's not like a big giant starter like you're used to seeing. And there's a bolt here that comes off the flange of the engine. And I can get my hand up here. There's a bolt here. There's a wire here, and then a little plug here. So take all that loose, and hopefully the starter will just drop right out. So one of the things I like about this Jeep is it's relatively speaking, it's kind of simple to work on. You know, tilt the hood back against the windshield, battery's right here. So I've got the cables off, so now I'm ready to go underneath and take that starter loose. So the starter I bought is from AutoZone. It's a Duralast, and it's a new starter. And from what I could glean on the internet reading about these things, the preference is to use the Chrysler OEM starter, brand new. But this Jeep is a 2006, and this video is being made in 2020. And Chrysler, to my knowledge, doesn't make a new starter anymore. They make a rebuilt starter. So I turned to AutoZone, Napa, and Advance Auto. Those are parts stores that we have around here. And only AutoZone had a new starter. And one thing you got to look out for when you buy a replacement starter for a Jeep Wrangler like I've got is there's a different starter for a straight drive and a different starter for an automatic, and this Jeep is an automatic. It better be for an automatic. So it says here it's a Mitsubishi. I don't know if that's good or bad. Whatever data they collected, evidently it passed. And right there it is. Stop. It's what it says. Stop, please. I don't know what that says. Hold on a minute. Must be important. It says, please call our ASE certified technicians at whatever that number is for assistance with installation and troubleshooting before returning this part to the store. Okay. That's good to know. So I've taken the wire to the solenoid loose, and one thing to keep in mind, I don't want to twist it around too much, but there's a little button you press to get it to come loose, so you want to be real careful about that. So the next thing I'm doing is I'm taking the wiring, the main wire from the starter loose, and kind of being careful about that when it's half rusted. I thought I might have to put some PV blaster on it. Maybe I should have. Alright, so I got that loose, and I'll try to sand that up a little bit before I put the new starter on. So I'll go after these bolts next. one here, and there's one back up here on the back side. Well, it took a little bit, but I got these bolts broke loose. They're 15 millimeter sockets. 15 millimeter is what I'm using on the top and the bottom, and they're threaded into the starter. Alright, so I got the starter off, and it's kind of looking at the teeth. I don't really see any damage. And right here's the old starter. Looks like there's a shim on here, or a cover. I think it's part of that plate right there, so I'm going to leave it. It is part of that plate. It's not a shim. I thought it was, but it's not. So the next thing I want to do is get this starter out from under here and just set it on a table and compare it to the one I bought. So this is the original starter that came on the Jeep. I bought the Jeep new. Chrysler. And I think I'm going to keep the starter and see if I can find somebody reputable that can rebuild it. This looks, you know, it said on here that this was a, said somewhere on here this is a Mitsubishi. And of course, you know, back in the day, Chrysler and Mitsubishi kind of had a thing going. But, you know, when I look at it, and just look at this contour and this one, and I look at the parting line here, and the parting line here, they're very similar in just the overall construction of the casing. So check the teeth on this starter. They don't look too bad either. So I think I'll be in good shape hooking this thing up. But what I was going to say about, you know, there's a core charge on this starter, but I think I'm going to keep this one and have it rebuilt by a reputable person that knows what they're doing, instead of taking my chances with whatever the box store rebuilt starter is. And you know, I'm glad I was able to find a new starter and get somebody who knows what they're doing to rebuild this one. And I'll just put it on the shelf. Maybe I'll never need another one. The Jeep's got 144,000 miles on it, and if this one goes 144,000 miles, I'll be close to 300,000, and maybe I need to think about something else. One thing to keep in mind when you take these bolts loose, they're two different lengths. The longer one goes up on the top, and the shorter one goes on the bottom. So you want to be sure and they're fully threaded so they'll screw in, but you might get one of them in backwards and then the other one doesn't work, so you got to undo everything. So thought I'd point that out. So one of the things I'm doing is putting a little anti-seize on these bolts. Maybe that's a bad idea, maybe it's a good idea, but we are threading into aluminum, so I don't want to, I think it's aluminum, I don't want a chance that it might gall. Alright, I got the bolts to hold the starter on. I got those in place, and a little tedious. I think if I'd have had a shorter wrench, I could have had a little bit longer throw on this top one, but not bad, not bad at all. So the next thing is to hook up this to that post, that wire from the battery to the post, and then hook up this little wire to that clip. And I brushed up this thing to try to make a little better contact, and we'll see. Alright, so all the electrical connections are done down here. I've got this wire on, and I got this thing plugged in. Now, I hope you can see all this. It's kind of tight down here, but on the other hand, it's not like working on a foreign car that has the engine jammed in. I don't quite have the words to describe it, but you know what I mean. So next thing I need to do is clean out my wrenches from under here and hook up the battery cables and see if it'll start. All right, the moment of truth. Jeep. 144,058 miles. So there it is, the starter's fixed, and that's kind of sort of how you do it. That's kind of sort of how I did it. I'm getting a little older now, and crawling around on my back's not quite as easy as it used to be, but I still enjoy, you know, changing my oil, changing my headlights, and just doing routine maintenance on my vehicles to the extent I can. And you know, this Jeep, it's not bad, and putting the starter motor on, I could have used some different tools. Might have made it a little bit easier, just a shorter handled ratchet for just finishing, getting this bolt screwed down and loosened up. And I used kind of one of those socket adapters. It's like a universal joint. That was somewhat helpful. But the biggest thing would have just been a short, stubby ratchet. I may have said socket earlier, but a short, stubby ratchet would have speeded things up quite a bit, because I was banging into the frame and the exhaust pipe trying to tighten and loosen bolts. But, you know, not a bad repair, and probably saved a little money at the mechanic I use, which they're really, really good. And so I just kind of leave it there. 2006 Jeep Wrangler, automatic, Golden Eagle edition. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll talk to you later.